I'm Shauni, founder of the Go-To agency. Catch me on the next step.
I'm up like 12. Poured out in my car. No ice, man, I'm calm. All I see is colors, yeah.
When I was about maybe 21, there was like this creative scene in London. Like everyone used to go to the same parties, like Living Proof, which has exploded now, but it was way smaller back then. It used to be at Marketplace, and there was like License Control, so it was a bit of a cool scene. And just one promoter by chance asked me if I wanted to come and like promote nights with him, and just because he saw that I was really well known. So I started off promoting a night at the W Hotel called Vinyl, and I just kind of realised our nights would do really well when I'd ask like a brand to get involved and sponsor the night. It slowly and very naturally turned it into listening parties and then after parties to the shows. And then I realised there was a lot of money in it, especially when it came to booking the artists. So I would have booking agents reach out to me like, are you interested in doing the after party to these big shows? And that's how we ended up doing like Azealia Banks and High Dollar Sign, August Alsina, because I'd look at who's coming and then book them into the West End clubs. And it's Corona now, but there was a lot of money in the time. And then I got kind of known amongst the industry, and then artists would ask me like, do you know what, I have a listening party, because the parties were lit. Yeah, they would always hit me up like, do you know what, we need, we have this artist and he's got this project dropping, can you host the listening party? And then I'd holler at like a Ray and Effie or one of these brands to sponsor the event, and that was it. That was the start of my music industry career. I think it's when Chance the Rapper, he had came to, because I hosted an exhibition for Will Prince Art. I hosted the exhibition and I was really clever the way I used to do it. So I hosted it during Wireless Weekend. And then a really good way to get artists to come to the parties is to book their tour DJs. So I booked his tour DJ, Smoko Ono. And yeah, then Chance the Rapper came and I thought they were lying. So when the tour manager texted me names for the guest list and he put Chance Bennett, I sent it to the guy I was doing it with and I was like, do you think this is Chance the Rapper? And then when they called me and said, we're outside, but we've got loads of security, can you clear the entrance? I was like, oh my God, Chance the Rapper is coming. That was crazy. That was really, really crazy. But that's probably a memorable moment. When I sort of made the decision, like, okay, all right, I'm gonna have this baby, I said, okay, I'm not giving up on my dreams, and because things were going really, really well, I was becoming quite well known for it. Funny enough, more so sort of the West End scene knew me, and then a lot of like the Americans knew me because they all talk and be like, when you go to London, and that's where the name of my business came from, the Go-To Agency, because they were like, you got to hit up Shauni, she's this go-to girl. And aside from hosting, I would still do other stuff like, you know, hospitality-wise, like if they didn't even want to host, they just wanted a table somewhere, I could call a promoter and get them a table. If they wanted some clothes, I would bring them to like the PR showrooms and gift them and their managers. So I was always like more of an all-around host. I didn't tell anyone I was having a baby. Even when I must have been about 6 months. And funny enough, like Nimat at Columbia, she's great by the way, she asked me if I'd host a party for Shaka, like a listening party. And everyone knows I'm quite a big drinker, and we had Ray and Nephew sponsor it. And I remember everybody being like, Shauni, drink up, why don't you have a drink? But I just held this one drink in my hand and didn't drink it the whole time. It's because I was pregnant, I was hiding my belly. And I never told anyone, because I always thought, if I tell everyone I'm pregnant, I'm having a baby, they're not gonna call me because they're gonna think, you know, well, you're a mum now, you can't do this. And obviously I still can, so I completely kept it to myself. So even when I gave birth, everybody was going mad, like, Shauni, why haven't you been answering your phone? And I was like, I've had some stuff going on. Anyways, let me take care of this. So sorted all that out. And then when he was 8 weeks, I got a call from a label in New York about doing a job, hosting someone. And it was like, let's just say like a dream artist that I always really wanted to work with. So I said, do you know what, I'm still gonna take the job. So he was 8 weeks old. I flew to New York that morning on the 8 AM flight, flew back on the 8 AM flight the next day, so didn't even sleep. And then I did have an 8-week-old, and then it was my first time being like kind of out. So I did go out and have a little bit of fun and stuff. But I came back and I thought, do you know what? I'm just gonna have to figure this out. I'm not turning down an opportunity. I'm just gonna find a way to do it. So I still hosted a few more events as well, but he was really small, and then, you know, I just started to feel terrible. Like, you know, I need to just be there for him a lot more, and I need to just settle in this mum life, you know, like I'm sure everything will fall into place. So I was looking for music jobs, and I'd put him in nursery. The nursery hours was 8 till 6, so it needed to be a 9 to 5, and PRS for music was the only job that had a 9 to 5. And I got the job at PRS. And when I got PRS, I was learning all about music royalties, like publishing royalties. So PRS and PPL differences, all the royalty rates. And I was like, but I've been in music for a good few years. Like, why don't I know any of this? And then out of curiosity, my nosiness, I would ask more people, like, so you have a PRS account, blah, blah, blah. And then I couldn't believe how many people just didn't know anything about this. So I know I speak about everywhere I go, but there was a massive knowledge gap, there still is, and I'm still doing my best to try and fill it. And then just because I still knew so many artists, they would always say, oh, we need you to check our accounts. And that wasn't actually my job, I was in licensing. But I just thought there's a little niche here. You know, there's not really a company or anyone in the music business that is like just sitting down and consulting and then looking into the accounts and doing that. And I set up the go-to agency because I was on a call with someone in LA, and it was like a conference call with a few other people, and he said, oh, I just want to introduce you to Shauni. She's this go-to girl in London. And I noticed a few people said that, so I said, hey, that's a business name, the go-to agency. And then, because, you know, I'm the go-to girl. My first clients were Dig Dat and Bouncer. You know, that's why I always will have to big up Bouncer, because like a friend of ours passed away, and I met him at the funeral, and my friend was like, this is my friend Shauni, she works at PRS. I didn't even work there at the time, and I said, well, I don't work there anymore, but you know what, this is something that I'm doing. And you know, I wasn't a full publisher, I was just offering admin deals. So I was a publishing administration company. And I said, yeah, I take a small percent, is that fine? So at Bouncer, we spoke through it, because I said, you know, every time I'm gonna sit with someone, I'm not just gonna try and get clients, I wanna educate everyone. So I explained through like music royalties, and then I met Dig Dat, did the same with him. And then obviously, say no more, career went off, both of their careers went off. And then I was still kind of broke because I didn't have a job, and one client wasn't enough to sustain me. So I said, all right, I'm gonna look for other music jobs, but it has to be within royalties. Applied for a job at Universal Music, got the job after one interview. I was in the royalties department. That was such an intense position, but you know, it was such a blessing though, because you know, within the royalties department, you pay everything according to the agreement. So you had to really study these contracts. So then I learned all about record deals, and you know, even to do with like producer points, things like that. I learned so much about, you know, the back end side of a label from being in that department. I met Quabs from Mixtape Madness. He's another pivotal person. He's just like an amazing guy, super clever as well. And I never forget when we were sitting in London Edition, he said, you know what, Shauni, you just need to find another you know? You just need to find someone else like you that can actually do a lot of the work, help you with this admin side, and scale up what you're doing. And I met Jo, and Jo worked for Kwame Quatin and was doing royalty administration. And he just came up to me and he was like, you know, I think you're really, really great. I'd love to help you. I was like, really? Are you good with spreadsheets? Because I'm terrible at Excel. And he was like, yes, oh my God, I'm amazing. And then I hired him as my assistant with the little budget I had, and then was able to really scale up and take on so much business. And then the more well-known that I got, the more clients I was getting. So there was this crazy demand, and we've been at capacity loads of times that we just couldn't take on anymore. And then I noticed like people were actually asking if they could sign with us. We got some really good signings under our belts, like as a publishing company, not just consulting. So that's why we have both sides of the business. And then literally things just exploded from there. And then, you know, I took on Finesse Foreva and all their clients, like artists and the writers, the producers. And then I was getting asked to guest lecture at unis and doing loads of panels, and it's just exploded from there, basically. So how I think a lot of people know me is because I do a lot of ranting on Twitter. And I'm always ranting about the same thing, because a lot of bigger producers finesse the little guys, and I hear about all the time. Or I just, you know, I rant about things I come across, like no one signing split sheets, so organisers who gets what percentage. So I would just be on my phone just pissed off, like, because I'm having to deal with disputes. I'm like, listen, make sure you guys are signing split sheets, and you know, make sure you're registering your works, like don't leave someone else to do it, blah, 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 blah. And I think they caught wind of me on Twitter and they followed me, and TK just randomly DM'd me and sent me a voice note. And then they were like, look, like we really need your services anyway, because they've got so many producers. Could we hire you to our admin? And I was like, well, of course. Yeah, sure. So they became our clients, and they've just become really good friends. I just love what they're doing. You know, I had a unique way into this industry, and it wasn't through, you know, interning, working my way up, or being friends with someone high in the industry that gave me a job. I found the industry wasn't very welcoming to me. I had a few real ones that were really cool, but there was pushback quite a bit, and I'm convinced it's probably because, you know, I'm an independent, and then it might be conflicting when I'm telling these producers to get more money from the label. So I kind of get it, but you know, like I said, I'm here for the people, I'm here for the artists. So I brought my son Samuel, my little 5-year-old, little nightmare, with me, and my twin sister Shari is here too, just because they are the two most important people in my life. And you know, with my son, like there was a time when work got really busy and overwhelming, and you know, he wasn't seeing me as much, and he wrote me a Mother's Day card actually, and he just said, "To Mummy, you know I love you so much, but you have to spend time with me and put me to bed." And the thing is, like, it did break my heart because, you know, I was working so much and doing a lot of late sessions, so I couldn't put him to bed. So I have a really, really good support system. Like my mum, my sisters helped me a lot. You know, his dad lives in New York, so I'm a single mum. So it's really hard, but I just thought, you know, I work so hard and I'm building something really, really great, but what does that mean without my family, you know? And if I'm being really honest, I'd give it all up if it meant compromising my relationship with my son. So I said, you know what? We're just gonna have to figure this out. Where do I see myself in 5 years? It changes all the time because, you know, at one point in my life, I was like, you know, I'll have my son be close to his dad and not be in New York or LA or somewhere. Or I get asked all the time if I'm gonna switch to records and be in a label settings. And the truth is, and one thing I realized is nobody knows what they're doing. Everybody acts like they know what they're doing, but nobody actually knows what they're doing. Like, I would have never ever thought that I would have been here. I would have never thought I would have had a successful business and been this businesswoman. Do you know what the truth is? I don't know where I'll be in 5 years. I just know I will be happy. I know I'm gonna be in a really great place. That's all I know. Whether that means I'm gonna be the top of some crazy label or my business is gonna go global, or whether, I just know whatever I do, I'm gonna be happy. Because every decision I make sure it means I'm happy and my son's happy. So that's all I'm gonna say. But I follow my heart with everything. I'm Shauni, the founder of the Go-To agency. Catch me on the next stuff.
Pour that in my car, no ice when I'm calm.